And we are live. Welcome everyone to a impromptu episode on my thoughts and Retro Oz Gamer, aka Enzo's thoughts on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. So how you going, mate? Had a good week?
Yeah, good. Yeah, very good. A bit busy at the moment because we're shifting warehouses and showrooms. So a bit sore and tired, but obviously had the pleasure of watching the film on Thursday night, which you went on Wednesday night, which is premiere night,
correct.
right?
That's correct.
How was that?
Yeah, it was awesome. I'm part of the WA Ghostbusters Club, so one of the Sony reps reached out to our club and organised it. They've done it every sort of couple of years when a Ghostbuster movie comes out, which is really cool. We got to go to Event Cinemas in Inaloo, and we basically got to greet customers as they were coming in to see the new film. We've got some photos here. If I can go. So that's me and my mate Ben, all done up. So we have the red jackets going. And then there's a couple of shots of us in the group setting there with the backdrop there, which is pretty cool.
They do a good job at Inaloo. They go all out
with
some of these premieres. I mean, that sign was massive. I walked past it on Thursday.
It was huge.
Look at all of you, and it's such a massive sign.
Yeah, and they had we didn't get a photo, but they had all these like icicles kind of set up in the middle, made out of foam, so you kind of walk through, which was kind of very cool.
Yeah, it's a shame they didn't leave those actually, because I noticed that in some of the photos, and then we went the day after and they weren't there. So the big banner was there, but the icicle bits weren't there. But anyway, it is what it is.
Probably just had that for the for the premiere night. I tell you what, though, in those flight suits, you get pretty hot. Me and Ben were sweating like pigs, you know. And
I bet you wish you were in the Frozen Empire.
Oh yeah, I wish we were in the ice. We're like, oh man, we need to get some water. So we went up to the help desk, and they had some water there, and they're like, oh, we don't have any water, but we've got we've got some frozen drinks with a bit of vodka. So I'm like, oh, we'll take that.
Did they have did you guys get the trap with the popcorn in it, or the Slimer mouth with the popcorn? Did you guys get any of that?
No, that was from what I've seen online. That's through AMC, which is mainly in America.
Yeah.
They were giving out some show bags to competition winners, which I was very lucky enough to get a couple of pieces from. But yeah, they didn't really do any like popcorn tins or anything like that at event. I know that Hoyts have like the little plushie, Ghostbuster plushie kind of things, but they've been around for a while. So it would have been nice to have got some imported stuff from America, but it was
a bit of a missed opportunity, eh?
Absolutely. I totally agree. But this is kind of the cool little tote bag that I got. So the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire with all the Stay Puft Mini Puffs. And got this. This is a Slimer bottle opener.
Oh.
So it's pretty cool. I really like the colors on that one. So bright greens and pinks.
Yeah, very fluoro.
And then this was the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire official water bottle. It's pretty cool. And it also glows in the dark as well. So there you go. So on the back there.
Sure, that's cool.
Yeah. So I'll probably take that around. So that was kind of my haul, and obviously the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire t-shirt as well. So it was a really good night, and it was just nice to be able to like share that with the audience, be a part of it, and be able to bring it in as the premiere as well. It was a great night.
Did you obviously you went to the premiere for Afterlife, but did you go to the one with the all-female cast?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Yep.
Was it as big as like Afterlife and this? Like because I didn't see that one at the movies. I don't know. I think I wasn't around. I think I was working away or something.
Yeah, I think it seemed biggish at the time, but not as big as like Afterlife or Frozen Empire. I mean, we're talking like 2016, so it was quite a while ago now. But like it was still promoted correctly in that. But I just think with Afterlife and Frozen Empire, you could definitely feel the audience was there. So yeah,
cool.
Yeah, we've got some comments here. Obviously, shout out to Comic Con podcast, and we've got Dean as well.
Oh yeah. I'd imagine a lot of people are probably in bed at this time of the night, being what is it, over East? 11 o'clock over East.
Yeah, that's right.
In the UK, they're probably lunchtime.
I know, right? It's all right, guys. We're going back to 2 hours very soon, so I'm looking forward to that. We'll be able to do some more live streams with hopefully the boys in Sydney. So that'll be good. Yeah. But yeah, as I said, man, I went all out. I got this jacket off Temu. Obviously, I wasn't going to pay the extortionate price of $1,800 US for the official jacket. But and just kind of customized it myself. But yeah, very, very happy.
To be honest, you couldn't tell that it wasn't official. You guys, they came up really good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a bit of Velcro, and obviously you got the name badge and the No Ghost logo. So no, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So how did you find? Sorry, go.
No, I was going to say let's deep dive into it. I'm sure there's lots of things to talk about. I have a tendency to overthink things.
Absolutely. So obviously this is an impromptu night, as I said. We're just going to be discussing our thoughts. We're not going to do any spoilers or anything like that. It's kind of going to be more general. But I guess if we are going to give any spoilers, then maybe turn it off and watch the film first, just in case something comes out. But yeah.
I'll give you a spoiler. Snape kills Dumbledore.
Classic.
Darth Vader is his father.
His father, yeah. But yeah, I guess did you want to start, or I can dive into it?
Look, I think I went in, this sequel. I mean, even though this is the fifth one or whatever, the fourth one in the whole thing, you kind of, sequels are always that. You don't put high expectations on it, but I think Afterlife hit home differently because it was it had been a long time. We knew there was connections to the first two. It was done extremely well, obviously, with the original director back, and unfortunately he passed away last year. But having the director and writer back, or director's son and the writer back, and then they flipped roles in this film. So he's now the director, and the other, so they're both still working on it.
They flipped it. Yeah,
they flipped it around, and look, I didn't dislike it. I enjoyed the film. I do feel it was a little bit slow in the first half to get in, and I feel that there was way too many characters, just way too many. Some characters that you just didn't even need. I think they were all in the trailers anyway. So podcasts, I just felt like podcasts had no need to be in that film. The girl from the burger joint from Afterlife, like, why is she even there? There was no real kind of like, connection. So there was so many characters. When you got that many characters, you got to have a lot of character arcs and stories. And, at that point in time, it's hard to do them all justice. So some are always going to suffer a little bit. I think they definitely had too many. One thing that spun me out a lot was the fact that there was a lot of daytime scenes, like ghost hunting in the daytime. Why are ghosts out during the day? Like, it's just,
I know,
and I think what they missed the mark, where Afterlife felt like it was part of the first and second because it was dark and gritty. And I feel that this one, there was just too much daylight. and the ghost hunting during the day, and it lost a little bit of its grittiness and its darkness. Because, you know, the first and second film, even when there was no ghosts on the screen, it was still pretty eerie. The scenes were very
there's always,
eerie.
you know, Ghostbusters 2, like, always remember that. It was always at night, and, you know.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, you know, we think ghosts are only out at nighttime, right? It's just human nature to think that. So it's a bit bizarre to see the ghosts being so vivid during the day and having a lot of daytime scenes. I don't know if that was due to filming scheduling or it was just something that they overthought, but I think they missed the mark a little bit there, personally. What do you call it? There was a lot. I mean, you'll probably mention this as well. The fact that there was a lot of stuff from the trailer that wasn't even in the film. I'd say 80% of the trailer wasn't in the film. Don't you reckon?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Which is like, even the red jackets, they were in the film.
I know, it's kind of like everyone's gone nuts on these red jackets, right? And they're in the film for like maybe, I don't know, a couple of minutes, and that's it. You know, it's like, where's the shot of, you know, the Spengler family sort of, you know, over the top with the red jackets going, oh, you know, you got Paul Rudd. And that wasn't even in there, you know.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a director's cut of this film, because Sony have a habit of putting time restraints on directors. And, you know, like, having that much content in a trailer that wasn't in the film tells me they shot a lot of footage, right?
Absolutely.
And, you know, the film is called Frozen Empire. It's not frozen for very long, is it?
No, it's not.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit bizarre, and like the logo's frozen, everything's frozen, your shirt's frozen, and it's like, you know, like,
where is it?
Probably a little bit of a spoiler, but I feel that they probably left it too late. But the film had, you know, like the family element, the fact that they're back in New York. They didn't really have to explain that too much. You know, it's obviously, what do you call it? Ernie Hudson is fucking awesome. Like, I love his character. And I think the whole entrepreneur, multimillionaire, he has presence on camera. I would like to have seen more of Ernie, probably. But I know they don't want to give the old crew too much airtime. I was really happy that the girl was still the main character. Even though there's a lot of characters and a lot of story arcs. The fact that she still was the main, story revolved around her, I think was important. She plays the part really well and has so much of Igor's awe and energy about her. She looks so much like him as well.
That's right.
So, you know, having even the old crew back, would have liked to have seen a bit more Bill Murray. I think he was a bit unnecessary in the end, really. Like, you know, he comes and goes, and it wasn't like, if he wasn't there, it wouldn't have mattered, you know, but he had some jokes. And I think, getting back to my comment about it being very not too dark and gritty, I think they're going way too humorous. Like, there's no need for it to be so funny, because a lot of the jokes didn't hit the mark for me.
No.
You know, and
I'll be honest, like, I felt like most of the jokes were kind of recycled from Afterlife, and it was kind of like repeated again, and it's like, well, we've kind of already seen this. It's not really, I didn't feel like fresh or new.
No, look, I think they played it safe. You know, it's a bit like when Force Awakens come out and everyone compared it to A New Hope. I think they did play it very safe, which in a way I don't really blame them, because Sony's not having a good run with films, to be fair. But, you know, having Dan Aykroyd in it more, everyone loves Dan Aykroyd, and he was such an integral part. I think in Afterlife.
I was just going to say, I really enjoyed seeing him on screen, and I think because he didn't really get a lot of airtime in Afterlife.
No, he didn't. But you could tell in Afterlife that he really missed it, doing it. Like, he missed the thrill. He missed being at the forefront. And I think he was like that in this film as well. You got that same vibe. But I think his character was important in this.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was kind of brought it all together. And obviously, we talk about the main ghost or villain. His name has been put on the internet, so we know
Garaka or whatever his name is.
Garaka.
Garaka.
I thought that was
Garaka.
12 o'clock and horny. But yeah, I think like they did pretty well with it, with that character, and they obviously explained. They did show a little bit of like the history of that as well, which I liked. So,
and I think because he wasn't full CGI, there was elements of real costume as well.
That's correct.
He looked really well, and he looked really good. And I think they, again, without getting too much into it, I would like to have seen more of him, probably.
Yeah.
But I do like what they did with the fact that the Ghostbusters aren't the first iteration of hunters of ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
With the past stories of Nadine. I mean, Nadine was a great character.
Yeah, he was.
Right, like he was funny. His jokes hit home. That awkwardness, that that nerd awkwardness. I think his character was probably needed in a sense. Most people find out why, but he's a good part of that team. And I hope they do a third one in that franchise. I think he'd be an integral part to what do you call it? He I found him. He was too jacked though, because he put on a lot of size for when he played in what was it called? Elements or whatever? Elementals.
Elementals, yeah.
The Disney, the Marvels one that flopped.
Haven't even seen that one, but yeah.
Yeah, don't waste your time. Definitely don't waste your time. So, but he got jacked in that. Like he stripped hard, put on size, and he still has that size because I saw an interview where when he did the Marvel film, he goes, "Oh, I've never in my 30 years been this jacked, and I'm never going to go back now." So, you could tell he was wearing real baggy clothing in the movie to make him look a little bit more nerdy. But yeah, look, I think the third act of the film definitely saves it. I think it was a bit slow at the beginning, but I would love to have seen Sigourney Weaver and Rick back. Everyone knows that they're not in the film. They couldn't get them to come back. Right. Rick's gone MIA for 30 years in Hollywood and is raising his children and doesn't want to know about it. Apparently, they threw good money at him too. I heard.
I know he's made a couple of cameos in what was that 80s TV show, the Goldbergs.
Yes.
Apparently rocked up in one of those episodes, reprising his role from Spaceballs. And I've heard rumors that he's going to be doing another Honey, I Shrunk the Kids film. So maybe.
Yeah, I heard that as well. That'd be cool.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe he just didn't feel that he would fit in with the universe. But I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think it probably was going to bring him too much exposure. He doesn't like the limelight. So, but look, overall, I had fun with it. I didn't walk out of there disappointed. I'd be worried if I did. It wasn't Afterlife, but I think Afterlife, it also hit home differently. I know we spoke about this via text, but, it was the first one for a long time. It had the nostalgia with the original cast, so there was it was the movie that we had all waited for,
always wanted
since the second one, and there was a lot of pressure on them because there was no New York in it, there was no Slimer, there was no Firehouse, so it was inevitable that they were going to end up back there. One thing for me, I watched the documentary that Adam Savage did, which I think I sent you, where they rebuilt the whole Firehouse in the UK on their set. Like, I'm talking all the levels and everything.
That's correct.
And I would have liked to have seen more Firehouse, personally.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even if it was like a bit of a montage at the end during the credits. Yeah. Like, show me more rooms. Show me like what's happening. In a lot of the toys and a lot of the play sets, there's pinball machines and arcade machines on the second level. We didn't really see any of that. No. So, when you're going to all that effort to like even reproduce Ghostbuster business cards on the desk and the artwork and, the floor. I mean, I don't know if you saw the Easter egg of the floor from the original film where the beam shot through the levels. Like they redid that tile for tile.
Absolutely.
And hey, Jules. And
hey, Jules.
It was, I kind of feel that possibly they did, and maybe again Sony put this pressure to make it a certain time. I don't know why they're so anti like 2 hours plus on films, but it's
because I feel it could have easily been 2.5 hours, and I would have been happy with that.
Yeah. There was, I mean, the scenes were good. The scenes were good. New York, I felt missed the mark because it didn't feel like New York to me. Because there wasn't enough of it, or it wasn't gritty enough, or there wasn't enough iconic scenes in it either, like to make you know that you're in New York. And I think they probably, I mean, it was filmed in London, right? So
that's right. They filmed most of it in UK. So yeah.
So, but nothing that CGI or drone can't capture.
No.
The Ecto 1's Ecto 1. That you're never going to go wrong with that. Look, overall, I thought it was fun. I think it missed the mark on some things, but it wasn't enough for me to not go, I wouldn't watch it again.
No,
I think
right.
Afterlife, I think you watch it again because it was that first, and it was quite deep and it was quite emotional in that connection. Yeah. And having like the ghost of, of him playing her grandfather playing with her and leading her, I think is what you connect with a bit, and it kind of makes you want to keep watching it. So look, it's not Afterlife, and that's okay. Things can stand on their own. I just feel that it probably needed to be a bit darker, more night scenes, less characters, and that probably would have been a perfect film. A perfect Ghostbusters film. I mean, Ghostbusters is limiting, right? You've got ghosts, you've got your proton packs, you catch them. I mean, how far can you go with this story?
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
There was talk of them making a film that had no proton packs and no like ghost hunting, and that would have been just an absolute uproar.
That would have been a bit weird, I think. So.
Yeah, but I think they were trying to find different ways of going. I do like the family dynamic, like, and the fact that he's trying to fit in as the stepfather figure. It's kind of cool that the brother who's in Stranger Things got to dress up as Ghostbusters in Stranger Things, and then he's actually in Ghostbusters. So that was pretty cool.
I think, he's a great character as well. Really plays a part. Obviously, in the trailer, you would see that he finds Slimer and in the attic, and I think the way they did that was pretty cool as well. Going back to the practical effects as well, I think like I've watched a lot of Adam Savage's videos, and like he goes through like how they made the slime, and that's apparently the original recipe that they used in the first two films. So they try to get it as close as possible, and then obviously in the trailer you see a character that's frozen, and the fire brigade interact with one of them, and that explodes. That was all real practical effects as well. I don't know if you saw the episode on that.
I did, yeah. So
I
actually really liked that opening of the film with that, having that dark, because that felt pretty gritty and dark.
It certainly did, yeah. And I think
like the originals.
I think it also like took a leaf out of the real Ghostbusters cartoons as well, because I don't know if you've watched them recently, but they do feel very dark when you're watching the episodes, and so I feel that they kind of tapped into that a bit in the way that the episodes would kind of intro with the real kind of dark scene, and then it would go into like a comedy kind of layout. So I totally agree with you. Like I went and saw it again last night with my good friend Harry, and I still really enjoyed it, but again, I didn't sort of get that afterlife feeling of, oh yeah, I'd love to, watch this again in a heartbeat. I'm not saying that I won't watch it again, but yeah, I just feel there was some bits missing, and I think that's what we're talking about in the trailer. Maybe there'll be a director's cut that will kind of maybe smooth out some extra scenes that should have been in there.
I think
overall,
you know the interesting part on all that content from the trailer that it's not really a spoiler, but it is not in the film. One of the things that really blew me away about this film was they were filming in June. They filmed for 3 months, right? So they were in post-production, and we are in March, and we're watching it. And probably the only thing I can say is that they rushed it.
It does feel very rushed, yeah.
I saw a trailer. I think I texted you 2 weeks ago and said, this film's coming out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're like, when did that happen?
Really get this film down, personally, because it was just so rushed.
Because originally, like last year, it was penned for December, which I thought was going to be they weren't going to make it, and obviously they didn't. But I think even like March seemed a bit rushed as well. I would have been more than happy to see it in June or July this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, filming in June of 2023, you got July, August, September. That's 3 months of filming. And then you got October, November, December in post-production.
That's a lot.
A little bit of January, right? And then the film's out. Like normally films, some films that they make
take over a year or so.
And maybe this is the interesting part, right? So it didn't take a long time to film because it wasn't a big movie, right? But it kind of doesn't feel like a big movie either, though.
No.
Because of how quick it was filmed. Or I think the scale of the film, they're trying to make it feel like massive being in New York, and they're trying to like give you that sense of this is a big place. But I think it doesn't get there, probably because it was filmed in 3 months, and you can't build lots of sets. You can't, there was a few street scenes and the firehouse.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and the library. That's pretty much kind of, and 3 months to film a film, 3 months to, 3 to 4 months to edit it and then distribute it. And we're watching it in March. I agree with you. I think July, school holidays, July or something, it could have come out, and they could have given it a bit more TLC.
Because obviously this year is 40 years for the original Ghostbusters movie, and that came out in June. So I thought, maybe they could have extended it to June or July, which I would have been more happy with. And that way they could have maybe spent a bit more time on polishing it. I'm not saying that it's not polished, but I just think, the pacing kind of felt a bit rushed.
And just the scale of it. And you're right, if it come out in June with the 40th anniversary, they could have made a big deal about the premiere in America. Yeah. They could have had a massive red carpet event. There wasn't really any of that. I really feel the marketing of the film was... you hear this rumor about Hollywood benching films and purposely tanking films because it's a tax write-off for them. I'd hate to feel that they did that on this, because at the end of the day, Sony's created its own company that makes just Ghostbuster stuff. Ghost Corps is a whole division on Sony that makes Ghostbusters films only, right? So that's right. Why not let it do its thing, or let them do their thing? I wouldn't be surprised if we got an uncut, like a director's cut version of this.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think I know that there's also that they're working on a animated series as well, which should be coming out. That was announced just after Afterlife, and when they were going to be making Frozen Empire was penned Firehouse at the time. But yeah.
Is that going to be like a movie like they've done with Turtles, where there's going to be multiple of them, or is it going to be a TV show?
It'll be a TV show. I think it's going to be coming directly to Netflix. So it'll be I guess like real Ghostbusters style again. As to where it's going to pick up, I'm not too sure, but I think I've seen a couple of photos that show the new characters, like the Spengler family in that. So yeah, could be promising, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even like what they've done with the video games, it's all pretty much everything they've done for the franchise has been done really well. I'm not going to say that the girls' film was not good. It was fun. It was just a different take on it. We went through that period of everything was girl power and woke, and it was a bit forced, to be honest. And I think that's why a lot of people pushed back on it. But it wasn't bad. Like, I know a lot of people hated it. But, everything they've done has always worked in a sense. To be honest, the girls' film felt a lot bigger than this film did.
I think that's because they had a massive budget.
Well, they did. That was the big thing, right? They had a huge budget, but it was filmed in New York as well.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The comments might keep me alive on that one, but I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
But you are right. They had a huge budget.
Absolutely.
They had like a $300 million budget or something.
Yeah.
I mean, they had Chris Hemsworth in it. What do you expect?
Oh yeah, here's pretty much the whole paycheck,
the whole paycheck. Well, look, I think to recap, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I definitely want to watch it again, because sometimes when you watch these movies that you're really into, they become a little bit overwhelming. You don't really know where to look.
That's right.
So I think a second look is always worth it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do like what they did with the ghosts. They seemed a little bit more scarier in this film. A bit creepier looking than normal. But yeah, look, overall, I was happy. I would like to have seen a bit more, especially in the first act. I would like to have seen it not rushed. I would like to have seen a little bit more Firehouse. But apart from that, it is what it is.
I agree. Like, I think overall it was done really well. As I said, there was probably just a couple of extra scenes that they could have included from the trailer, i.e. the red jackets. But I think overall, overall it was really good. And I still enjoyed seeing it the second time. I probably noticed one or two things that I didn't notice when I first saw it, but you're gonna notice that. But
I think what was I going to say? We were talking about. No, I don't remember now. But yeah, I would like to have seen. I would like to have seen a little bit more Frozen Empire.
Absolutely.
So it was an interesting. When you think of a script and you kind of go, oh, maybe we should look at a Frozen cold. Let's go to cold, because everyone connects death to coldness, right? But it's a hard one to do because CGI wise, and there's a lot of work that goes into the ice and the wind and the frost and all that. So it's pretty ballsy to do, because you could have done so many other things. They could have done fire, for instance. A film that was more fire based as opposed to ice, which would have been easy to do. But yeah, I mean, look, you're never going to please all Ghostbusters fans because there's so many. So many people. Actually, the people that you were with that you saw the premiere, what did they think?
I didn't really get their thoughts on it. So I think they were kind of a bit overwhelmed from the night. But I'll admit, obviously, as a true Ghostbuster fan, I had a lot of hype for this. When the trailer came out, I didn't watch a lot of the TV spots or anything like that because I kind of wanted to try and go in with no expectations and fresh eyes. So I'm glad I did that. But yeah, again, I just think they could have included a little bit more from the trailer and maybe explained, some of the characters without giving it away, spoilers. But overall, I thought it was good.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I hope they do another one. I think you always learn and evolve from, I wouldn't say mistakes because that turns it into a negative. But I think there's just, you get feedback and, the whole New York thing is interesting where I mean, there's just so much you can do with it, right? Story wise.
I would have liked to have seen maybe some more like location filming, like
Yeah.
maybe like an old mental hospital, or like, because you see that. Yeah, again, I'm not going to spoil it, but I just think it would have been nice to have pictured a bit more of where they were going or what they were actually doing. It's like in the original Ghostbusters.
That comes down to the scale of the film, because it was only shot in 3 months, right?
That's correct.
So, I do like that they went back to the library. I think that was cool. That was, probably one of the most iconic locations in the films.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's a hard one, because like you look at reviews. I don't really buy into Rotten Tomatoes. I hate it. And there's a lot of people that just hate for no reason.
Yeah.
But like Rotten Tomato official reviews have it on like 50%, but the public have it on 80%.
It's like 48-50% at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, but the public wrote to 86%.
Yeah, okay. That's very skewed.
It's very skewed. I think you're never gonna be able to balance that. But look, one of the things that like the music, I like the incorporation of the music in the background. It was all the music from the 80s version. Even the little piano bits. And I think that tied it really well to kind of make it feel like it was connected to those.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the effects were good like that. The Slimer looked good. It was good to see Slimer.
He did, yeah.
It looked the same. And I did like seeing the pole, the transition of the poles actually being used. Yeah. And you actually saw them going all the way down.
Absolutely.
Which was cool. But look, overall it was fun. It was fun, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think that's a pretty good way of capping it up. But I think, like, if you haven't seen Ghostbusters Frozen Empire yet, go to the cinemas and see it for yourself, and
come back and leave some comments.
Yeah, leave comments on what you thought of it, because I think at the end of the day, like, everyone's got different opinions, and different films are either really good or not so, don't hit the mark. So we'd love to know your comments and thoughts as well after seeing the film. I know there's still a couple of guys in Sydney I keep on collecting, and I don't think Scott Crush has seen it yet. So
no, he was too busy shaving his head on Friday.
He was, yeah.
Kudos to him. He looks great.
Absolutely.
Although I prefer the long hair.
It's a bit, it's a bit jarring, but look, I think kudos to him. As I said, like, it's a big commitment, and he's raised over $1,000. So congratulations, Scott. You did an awesome job. We all supported you in that. So I think it's for a good cause, leukemia, cancer, all that. It's all very important. So
for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm looking forward to reading the comments when people come back and leave their opinions after they've seen the film. Because it'd be really cool to see, like, what Scott thought of it, what Dean thought of it, what Jules thinks, and because, like, a friend of mine's seen it and he loved it. Like, he goes, can't think of anything bad to think about it. He goes, I would like to have seen more ghosts and more proton firing. That's it. So he literally, I gave him some of my thoughts, and he was like, man, you're being too picky. Right? So it is very subjective.
That's good. Awesome, man. Well, I think we might wrap that up there, but thank you so much for thanks for coming on. I don't know why I haven't done this earlier. Like, we hang out all the time, so thank you again for coming on the show, and looking forward to doing some more in the future. And I don't know, maybe we can have another one in a week or two once the film has actually got out to where everyone
most people have seen it. Although funny, like, the cinemas were full. Everyone that I saw was full. So I'll go watch it again, and then maybe we can recap in a few weeks. Maybe get, like, Scotty on and someone else on.
That'd be great. I think get the Keep On Collecting boys and Scott and Dean.
And just get heaps of people's opinions on it.
Yeah, because then I think like that would also help with, discussing it a bit more in depth as well, I think.
Yeah. No, for sure. No, pleasure. I always enjoy these little chin wags. So yeah, no, it's
Absolutely.
been great.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone that tuned in for a bit. I know it's different time zones here, but yeah, make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already, and also check out Retro Els Gamer on Instagram as well. But that is all for us. We will catch you later, and don't cross the streams. See ya.